Ryan stood at the edge of the landing platform, staring out at the alien city that stretched before him. The buildings were tall and sleek, built from a smooth material that shimmered under the pale light of the distant sun. The air smelled different here, faintly sweet but sharp at the same time. His uniform felt heavy under the alien sky, and every instinct in his body told him to be cautious. He was a human soldier, sent far from Earth to maintain peace, but already he felt the weight of being an outsider. A small group of aliens approached him. They moved gracefully, their long limbs gliding over the platform without sound. Their eyes were large and intelligent, and their skin had a faint shimmer like polished stone. At their head was a tall figure in a ceremonial robe, and he bowed slightly as he reached Ryan. "Welcome, human soldier," the leader said, his voice calm but commanding. "We honor your arrival. You have been chosen for a special role." Ryan nodded, keeping his expression neutral. "I am here to maintain peace. That is my mission." The leader's eyes softened, and he gestured to a figure standing slightly behind him. Ryan turned slowly and saw a young alien woman. She stood still, her hands folded in front of her. Her eyes were bright and curious, yet there was a calmness in her that made her seem older than she looked. She had long hair that flowed past her shoulders and a simple tunic that matched the colors of the city. "This is Nira," the leader said. "She will accompany you. She is your guide and your companion." Ryan raised an eyebrow. Guide and companion. He glanced at Nira, trying to read her expression. She looked back at him steadily. "My wife," she said clearly. Her voice was soft but certain. Ryan froze. The words made no sense. His mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Was this a test? A trick? He had encountered many strange customs in alien cultures, but nothing like this. I am your what?" Ryan asked, his voice careful. "My wife," Nira repeated. She bowed slightly, but her eyes stayed on his. There was no mockery, no fear, only a quiet confidence that unsettled him. Ryan took a step back, still unsure. "I did not ask for a wife." Nira's lips curved into a small smile. "In my culture, this is an honor. I choose you because you are strong and fair. You will protect me, and I will assist you." Ryan blinked, trying to process her words. She was not threatening, and yet there was something in her tone that demanded respect. He looked at the alien leader, who nodded at him, as if expecting him to understand. Ryan took a deep breath. "Very well. I will accept that she accompanies me. I still do not understand what this means." "You will understand in time," the leader said. "She is loyal, and her trust is given only to one she believes worthy. You must treat her with respect. She is not a servant. She is your partner." The word partner helped Ryan feel slightly less uneasy, though he was still cautious. He studied Nira more closely. Her posture was straight, but her movements were soft, almost fluid. She did not seem frightened, and she did not appear to be hiding anything. Her eyes held intelligence and curiosity, and for a moment, Ryan wondered if she had already seen through him. They began walking toward the city. The streets were filled with aliens moving in orderly patterns. Some were walking alone, others in groups, speaking in a language Ryan could not understand. Machines floated above them, carrying supplies and people efficiently. The technology was advanced, yet the city did not feel cold. There was a rhythm to life here, a balance that humans rarely saw even on Earth. Nira stayed at his side, matching his pace. She pointed to different buildings and structures, explaining their purposes in the alien language. Ryan could not understand the words, but he watched her closely. She was confident, moving easily among the locals, and yet she glanced at him occasionally, as if checking that he was still following. Finally, they reached a large building that looked like a combination of a palace and a research center. The doors opened automatically, and they were greeted by another group of aliens who led them inside. The interior was bright and clean, filled with soft light and subtle sounds. Screens displayed information in symbols Ryan could not read, and tables held tools and devices that seemed far beyond human technology. Nira guided him through the building, pointing to rooms and explaining their uses. Her voice was calm, steady, and polite. Ryan noticed how she interacted with others. They listened to her carefully and responded with respect. It was clear that she held a position of importance, despite her young appearance. They reached a small room at the far end of the building. Nira gestured for Ryan to enter first. Inside, there was a table with maps of the colony, holographic displays, and a few personal items that seemed to belong to Nira. "This will be our base for now," she said, her eyes meeting his. "You will plan your missions here. I will assist you in every way I can." Ryan nodded slowly. "Thank you. I will do my best to understand your ways and protect this colony." Nira smiled again. "I trust you. That is why I call you my wife. It is not a joke. It is a declaration of trust and partnership. You must know that this is rare." Ryan felt a strange mixture of confusion and honor. He did not fully understand her culture, but he sensed that her words carried more meaning than he could grasp. There was courage in her eyes, and for the first time, he felt that he was not alone in this alien world. As night fell outside, the city lights shimmering in soft colors, Ryan and Nira sat quietly in the room. The silence was comfortable, and he found himself watching her closely. She seemed at ease, almost at home, while he was still adjusting to the strange customs and unknown dangers of this world. For the first time since arriving, Ryan allowed himself to relax. He had a partner, someone who could guide him and who trusted him in a way that humans rarely did. And though the words "my wife" still echoed in his mind, he began to wonder if there was a deeper meaning waiting for him to discover. The stars above the city glimmered, and Ryan felt the faint stirrings of hope. This world was strange, the customs were confusing, and the future was uncertain. Yet for the first time, he felt that perhaps he had a reason to stay, to learn, and to protect the life of the alien who called him her wife. The morning sun cast long shadows across the alien city as Ryan stepped out of the building with Nira by his side. The air was crisp, carrying a scent of blooming plants he had never seen before. Every detail of this place fascinated him, yet a part of him remained wary. He had been trained to stay alert in unfamiliar territory, and this world was full of unknowns. Nira walked calmly beside him, her posture straight and confident. She moved easily among the locals, exchanging polite gestures that Ryan could not understand but noticed carried meaning. Children watched her curiously, adults nodded with respect, and even the machines seemed to pause as she passed. Her presence alone commanded attention without any hint of force. "Ryan," Nira said, her voice soft but clear. "Today I will show you how we live, how we work, and how our people think. It is important you understand, so you can protect us and lead wisely." Ryan nodded, still adjusting to hearing the word "us" used so naturally. He remembered how she had called him "my wife" and thought again about the meaning of her words. It was different from anything he had known. In Nira's world, partnership seemed to be more about trust, loyalty, and respect than anything else. They walked through the market district first. Vendors displayed goods in neat rows, items glowing faintly with energy. Ryan noticed fruits that pulsed with light, liquids that shimmered like liquid metal, and devices that seemed alive. Nira explained the purpose of each item in her language. Ryan could not understand the words, but she used gestures and demonstrations, and soon he began to grasp the meaning. "This is food," she said, handing him a small glowing fruit. "It nourishes and heals. Humans would call it medicine fruit." Ryan examined it, noting its weight and texture. He took a bite, surprised by the sweet and tangy flavor. His taste buds tingled, and he felt a strange warmth spread through his body. It's good, he said, looking at her. Nira smiled. It is not only for taste. It strengthens the body and mind. You will eat well here if you follow our ways. They moved on to a plaza where young aliens practiced movements that reminded Ryan of martial exercises. Their motions were precise, almost dance-like, yet each movement carried strength. Nira watched carefully, then turned to him. In our culture, strength is not only physical, she explained. It comes from discipline, focus, and understanding. You are strong, Ryan, but you must learn more than fighting. You must learn patience, observation, and thought. Ryan nodded, feeling both challenged and intrigued. He had trained for combat his whole life, yet he realized that Nira's world demanded a different kind of strength. One that combined mind, heart, and body. As they continued through the city, Nira guided him to the central library. The building was enormous, filled with rows of glowing panels and floating information spheres. Ryan felt awe as he entered, seeing knowledge arranged in ways he had never imagined. This is where we store history, science, and records of our people, Nira said. Knowledge is more valuable than weapons. A strong mind prevents conflict better than a strong arm. Ryan walked carefully among the spheres, reaching out to touch one. It responded immediately, opening a projection of the colony's history. He saw images of past leaders, explorers, and scholars. Nira watched him closely. You see, Ryan, our people value respect, honor, and unity, she said. When I call you my wife, it is because I trust you to uphold these values. You protect not only me, but the future of our people. That is the meaning of partnership. Ryan paused, taking in her words. He had always thought of loyalty as obedience and duty, but Nira's explanation made him see it differently. Trust and respect were at the heart of it. He felt a sense of responsibility he had never known before. After the library, Nira led him to a training area. She moved gracefully, demonstrating techniques to navigate obstacles, handle alien technology, and approach problems strategically. Ryan followed, learning quickly. Her patience and guidance impressed him. She did not rush him, but she corrected gently and explained clearly. He began to understand that she was not only intelligent but wise beyond her years. During a break, they sat beside a flowing water channel. The liquid shimmered in soft colors, reflecting the sky above. Nira watched Ryan carefully, her expression serious but kind. Ryan, she said, in my culture, marriage is a bond of trust. It is not about romance only. It is about protection, understanding, and respect. When I call you my wife, it is because I believe you are worthy of this bond. Ryan looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. He realized that she had offered him more than companionship. She had chosen him as someone she could rely on, someone who could see her as an equal. The realization was humbling, and he felt a new determination rising in him. I understand, Nira, he said slowly. I may not fully know your ways yet, but I will learn. I will protect you and our people as best I can. Nira's eyes brightened. That is all I ask. We will face many challenges, but together, we will succeed. Trust in yourself as much as I trust in you. As the day continued, they explored more of the city. Ryan learned about alien customs, social interactions, and technology. He noticed how Nira's people communicated respect without words, how they solved conflicts peacefully, and how they valued knowledge above fear. Slowly, he began to feel less like an outsider and more like a part of this world. By the time the sun set, casting long shadows across the city, Ryan felt a strange sense of connection. The day had been overwhelming, yet enlightening. He had learned not only about the alien culture but also about the depth of trust and loyalty Nira had placed in him. Calling him her wife was more than words, it was a symbol of hope, partnership, and shared purpose. As they returned to their base, Ryan glanced at Nira. She walked with quiet confidence, her eyes steady on the path ahead. He realized that she had already begun to teach him the most important lesson: understanding and respect were the foundation of strength, and together, they could face anything. That night, as he prepared for rest, Ryan reflected on the day. He had entered this world unsure and cautious, but he would not leave it unchanged. Neera's trust, her guidance, and her unwavering belief in him had sparked something new. For the first time, he felt that being called her wife was not confusing, it was an honor and a challenge he was willing to accept. Ryan woke to the soft hum of the city outside. The alien sunlight filtered through the tall windows of their base, casting long, warm streaks across the floor. Neera was already awake, moving quietly around the room, organizing supplies and checking communication devices. She looked calm and focused, a sharp contrast to Ryan's restless energy. "Good morning," Ryan said, stepping out of bed. "Good morning," Neera replied, without looking up. "Today we will inspect the research station nearby. It is important to ensure the safety of our colony." Ryan nodded. His first instinct was to take the lead as a soldier, but he quickly realized that Neera's knowledge of this world far exceeded his. She led the way efficiently, moving through the streets of the city with ease, exchanging respectful gestures with everyone they passed. Ryan followed, observing how people listened to her and respected her presence. The journey to the research station was not long, but the terrain changed quickly. They walked through fields of tall, glowing plants that sway gently in the wind. Machines hovered above the fields, monitoring growth and collecting samples. Ryan was fascinated by the technology, but Neera moved with purpose, guiding him through safe paths and pointing out areas of concern. "This station is old," Neera explained. "It monitors weather patterns and energy flow. It is reliable, but it has not been maintained fully. We must ensure it works properly." As they approached the station, a warning signal began to flash. Small drones, once dormant, were moving unpredictably around the perimeter. Neera pointed at them calmly. "They are malfunctioning," she said. "They are not dangerous if we stay cautious. Follow my instructions." Ryan felt his pulse quicken, but he trusted her completely. He watched as Neera moved forward, analyzing the drone's patterns. She guided him to safe spots, showing him where to stand and when to move. Together, they disabled the malfunctioning drones by using a combination of her technology and his manual skills. "Good work," Neera said, turning to him with a small smile. "You learn quickly." Ryan nodded, feeling a rush of pride. He had faced danger before, but working alongside Neera felt different. He was not alone, and her calm confidence gave him courage he had not expected. Inside the station, they encountered more challenges. Doors that should have opened automatically were locked, systems had glitches, and sensors misread simple data. Ryan worked on the mechanical parts while Neera interfaced with the computer systems. Their actions were synchronized, almost instinctive, and they found a rhythm that allowed them to overcome each problem efficiently. During a brief pause, Ryan looked at Neera. She was studying a holographic map of the station, her eyes scanning every detail with precision. Her expression was focused, yet her hands moved gracefully as she adjusted the interface. "You are amazing," Ryan said quietly. Neera glanced at him and tilted her head. "I have had training, and I have observed your actions. You are capable, Ryan. Together, we are stronger than alone." Her words struck him deeply. He realized that her calling him my wife was not strange or confusing anymore. It was a statement of partnership. She trusted him, and he trusted her. Their bond was forming naturally, built on respect and shared purpose rather than anything else. They moved to the control room, where a critical energy monitor was failing. Ryan worked to stabilize the power system while Neera analyzed the readings, giving instructions in her calm voice. The room was tense, but their cooperation allowed them to complete the repairs faster than either could have done alone. When the system finally stabilized, the lights brightened, and the monitors displayed normal readings. Ryan let out a relieved breath. "Excellent work," Neeraj said, placing a hand on the console. "The station is secure, and the colony will remain safe." Ryan looked at her, admiration in his eyes. "I could not have done it without you." "You could have, but together it was easier," she replied, her voice gentle. "That is why I am here. That is why I trust you. You have strength, but strength alone is not enough. Cooperation and understanding are equally important." As they left the station and returned to the city, Ryan felt a sense of closeness with Neeraj that surprised him. He was used to relying on his own skills and training, but working with her had taught him the value of partnership. He realized that their bond was growing stronger, not because of words, but because of actions and trust. During the walk back, they encountered a small group of local children playing near the streets. Neeraj paused to greet them, and the children responded with laughter and excitement. She knelt down, speaking softly, and the children listened attentively. Ryan watched and understood that this was another aspect of her culture: care for others and respect for life. "You have a gentle way," Ryan said quietly. Neeraj looked at him with a small smile. "It is part of who I am. You will learn that strength and gentleness can exist together." Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. He had always thought of himself as a soldier, someone trained to fight and protect. But now, he understood that protection was not only about combat. It was about trust, understanding, and supporting those who depended on you. Neeraj had shown him that in a single day. As night fell, they returned to their base. The city was quiet, lights glowing softly along the streets and buildings. Ryan and Neeraj sat on the balcony, overlooking the city. The stars above shimmered, reflecting in the calm water channels below. "You called me your wife," Ryan said finally, breaking the comfortable silence. "I think I understand now. It is not just a title. It is trust and partnership." Neeraj nodded. "Yes, Ryan. It is a declaration of respect and belief in your abilities. It is rare for someone to be given this bond. I chose you because I see courage, intelligence, and honor in you. That is why I call you my wife." Ryan felt a sense of pride and humility. He realized that he had been given a great responsibility, and he wanted to live up to it. "I will not fail you, Neeraj. I promise I will protect you and our people." Neeraj's eyes softened, and she reached out, placing her hand lightly on his. "I know you will, Ryan. Together, we will face challenges, and we will succeed. Trust in yourself as I trust in you." The night passed quietly, with the sounds of the city below. Ryan lay awake for a while, thinking about the day's events. He had learned more than he expected, not only about the alien culture but also about himself. He had discovered that trust and partnership were more powerful than fear and doubt. By morning, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was no longer just a soldier sent to maintain peace. He was a partner, a protector, and someone who had earned the trust of a remarkable alien woman. And he knew that the bond they were forming would guide him through the challenges yet to come. Together, Ryan and Neeraj had taken the first steps toward understanding, respect, and a partnership that would grow stronger with every challenge they faced. The journey had just begun, but already their connection had become something neither of them could ignore. The morning air was thick with tension as Ryan and Neeraj left their base to begin the day's patrol. The city seemed calm, but Ryan had learned from Neeraj that appearances could be deceiving. She moved beside him with her usual grace, her eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. "We must be alert," Neeraj said quietly. "There are those who watch us, even within the colony. Not everyone welcomes human presence." Ryan nodded. He had felt the subtle glances and whispers of disapproval among some of the locals. Most were respectful, but a few had shown open distrust. Ryan had learned to recognize subtle warnings in their behavior, but he trusted Neeraj's instincts more than his own. They reached the outer district, where research and supply facilities were clustered. Nero led him toward a small warehouse that stored vital equipment for the colony's defense systems. As they approached, a faint vibration in the air signaled the presence of another being. Nero paused, placing her hand on Ryan's arm. "They are here," she said softly. "We must act carefully." From behind the buildings, a small group of masked aliens emerged. Their eyes were hard and filled with suspicion, and they carried devices that looked like energy disruptors. Ryan instinctively stepped forward, hand on his weapon, but Nero raised a hand, signaling him to wait. "They do not attack immediately," she whispered. "They are testing us." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "Testing us?" Nero nodded. "Yes. They want to see if you are capable, if you can handle challenges. Follow my lead." The masked aliens spoke in a rapid language, pointing at Nero and then at Ryan. She responded calmly, gesturing and speaking in her language. The human's translator confirmed only part of the conversation, but Ryan could see the tension. The group was considering whether to challenge them further. Ryan realized that Nero was not only negotiating but also assessing their intentions. Her calm confidence contrasted sharply with the group's uncertainty. Slowly, they lowered their disruptors, showing a sign of respect. Nero's steady gaze met theirs, and she spoke a few final words. The group nodded, backing away. "They were testing loyalty," Nero explained as they moved away. "They wanted to know if I trust you and if you can protect me." "You passed." Ryan exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and pride. He had been unsure how to act, but Nero's guidance had made all the difference. "That was impressive," he said. "You handled them perfectly." "You must learn," Nero said. "Not all threats are obvious. Some come from within. The colony is not completely unified. You must be ready for surprises." They continued their patrol, and soon the vibration of small machinery caught Ryan's attention. A series of drones hovered near a supply depot, moving erratically. Nero studied them quickly. "They are not malfunctioning," she said. "Someone has tampered with them. They could cause serious damage if we are not careful." Ryan nodded, gripping his weapon. "We stop them." Nero smiled faintly. "Together. You act when I guide you. Do not rush." They approached the drones cautiously. Ryan followed Nero's instructions, moving to safe angles and disabling the devices as she identified weaknesses in their control systems. The task required precision, and they worked in perfect coordination. Each drone that fell inactive brought a small surge of satisfaction to both of them. After the last drone was neutralized, Ryan felt a strange exhilaration. He realized that facing challenges alongside Nero was different from any battlefield he had ever known. Here, victory depended not only on strength but also on trust, observation, and cooperation. "We must report this to the council," Nero said. "Someone inside is trying to create chaos. This is not just testing, it is sabotage." Ryan followed her to the council chamber, where leaders of the colony were already gathered. Nero explained the events calmly, presenting evidence from the drones and her observations. The council listened carefully, impressed by her clarity and insight. Ryan added what he had observed, and the humans and aliens together provided a full account. One of the council members, an older alien with shimmering eyes, turned to Ryan. "You have shown courage and clarity," he said. "Not all humans would act so wisely in such circumstances." Ryan nodded humbly. "I am only here to protect and assist. I follow the guidance of someone who knows this world better than I do." He glanced at Nero. She returned his look with a small nod, acknowledging his words without arrogance. After the meeting, Nero led him to a quiet corridor. "You did well," she said. "Your instincts are strong, but you also listened. That is why we succeeded. Partnership is not about following blindly or acting alone. It is about trust and timing. Ryan looked at her, feeling a deeper connection. The words she spoke were simple, but their meaning was profound. He had always been trained to follow orders, yet here, success required understanding and cooperation. Nira had taught him a lesson more valuable than any he had learned on Earth. Later that evening, they returned to their base. The city had grown quiet, and the lights reflected softly on the calm water channels. Ryan felt the weight of the day settle on him. There had been danger, uncertainty, and challenge, yet he had learned more about himself and Nira than he ever expected. "Ryan," Nira said as they watched the city together, "today you proved yourself not only as a soldier but as a partner. I trust you more than ever. That is why I call you my wife. It is not just words. It is faith in your abilities and your heart." Ryan felt a warmth spread through him. He understood now that the bond between them was growing stronger because of shared experiences and mutual respect. He had earned a place in her world, not by rank or strength alone, but by courage, patience, and trust. "I will not fail you, Nira," he said quietly. "I promise to protect you and our people, and to learn everything I need to know about this world." Nira smiled softly, placing her hand lightly on his arm. "I know you will, Ryan. Together, we will face all threats, and we will succeed. Trust in yourself as I trust in you." As night settled over the city, Ryan felt a sense of determination he had never known. The day's trials had tested him in ways beyond combat, and he had emerged stronger and wiser. Nira's guidance, her trust, and her calm strength had shown him a new way to fight and protect. He realized that the challenges ahead would be greater, but with Nira by his side, he was ready. Together, they would face whatever threats emerged, internal or external, and prove that unity, trust, and partnership could overcome even the most dangerous obstacles. The morning sun cast a gentle glow over the colony as Ryan followed Nira through the city streets. Today, Nira had promised to explain more about her culture and the true meaning of her words. Ryan had been curious since the day she first called him my wife. He had begun to understand her trust and partnership, but he sensed that there was a deeper story he had yet to hear. They walked quietly through a part of the city that Ryan had not visited before. The buildings were older here, carved from smooth stone that seemed to shimmer faintly in the sunlight. Small gardens grew along the edges, filled with plants that pulsed with soft light. The streets were empty, and the air felt calm, almost sacred. "This place is special," Nira said softly. "It holds the history of my people. I want you to see it, so you will understand why I called you my wife and why that word carries so much meaning." Ryan nodded, feeling anticipation and respect. He followed her as she led him to a tall, ornate structure at the center of the district. The doors opened automatically, revealing a hall filled with holographic images and carvings on the walls. The room was quiet except for the faint hum of the energy that powered the displays. "These walls tell our story," Nira said. "Our ancestors were protectors, scholars, and explorers. They valued knowledge, loyalty, and the bonds between people. The strongest among us were those who could unite others and protect what mattered most." Ryan walked slowly, studying the images. He saw figures similar to Nira, standing tall among groups of people, guiding them, and leading them through challenges. Some held tools and devices, others held symbols of leadership. Their expressions were calm, yet determined. "In our culture," Nira continued, "marriage is more than personal affection. It is a declaration of trust. A person who is called a spouse is recognized as someone who can be relied upon completely. They are expected to protect, understand, and support. This is why I called you my wife. It is not just a title. It is a declaration of belief in you." Ryan felt a weight in his chest. The words made sense in a way that his human mind could understand. It was not about romance, not about control or duty. It was about trust and honor, a deep acknowledgement that someone believed in your abilities and character. You chose me? Ryan asked quietly, still trying to process. Nira nodded. Yes. I chose you because I saw your courage, your intelligence, and your integrity. I wanted someone I could rely on, someone who could face challenges without hesitation, someone who could protect not only me but others as well. Ryan felt humbled. He had been trained for combat, for missions, and for survival, but he had never considered that his actions could earn such trust. I will not fail you, Nira, he said, his voice firm. I promise to honor this bond and protect our people. Nira smiled softly. I know you will, Ryan. That is why this bond works. You are more than strong or skilled. You are willing to learn, to understand, and to protect. That is what matters most. They continued through the hall, and Nira paused in front of a large carving that depicted two figures standing side by side. One held a staff of authority, the other a tool of creation. Light from the holograms reflected on the walls, showing their unity and balance. This is the symbol of partnership, Nira explained. It represents how two beings, different in many ways, can work together to achieve something greater than themselves. That is what I see in us, Ryan. We are different, yet together we are stronger. Ryan studied the image, feeling a deep connection. He realized that he had been thinking of partnership in human terms, but Nira's culture gave it a new meaning. It was not about ownership or expectation. It was about trust, respect, and the willingness to face the world together. As they left the hall, Nira led him to a small courtyard filled with soft, glowing flowers. The air was fragrant, and a gentle breeze moved through the space. She turned to him, her eyes serious yet kind. Ryan, there will be challenges ahead, she said. Not everyone will understand our bond. Some may try to test it, or to question it. But you must remember what you learned here today. You were chosen for a reason. Trust yourself as I trust you. Ryan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. I understand, Nira. I will honor this bond, no matter what comes. I will protect you and our people, and I will learn everything I need to know about your culture. Nira's hand brushed lightly against his arm. That is all I ask. Together, we will face challenges, and together, we will succeed. You are my partner, Ryan, and I am yours. That is the truth you must carry with you always. They walked back through the streets, returning to the center of the city. Along the way, Ryan noticed how people looked at him differently. Some glanced with curiosity, others with respect. He realized that word of his partnership with Nira had already spread. Being chosen by her was a symbol not only of trust but of acceptance among her people. At their base, Ryan and Nira prepared for the evening. Ryan reflected on what he had learned. The day had revealed the deeper meaning behind Nira's words, and he felt a sense of pride and responsibility. He had been given more than companionship. He had been entrusted with a bond that carried the weight of culture, history, and honor. Nira watched him quietly, understanding his thoughts without needing words. She had guided him not only through the city but through a lesson in trust, respect, and partnership. She knew that Ryan's human mind needed time to fully grasp the significance, and she was patient. As night fell, the colony glowed softly under the stars. Ryan and Nira stood on the balcony, looking out at the city. The water channels reflected the light in shimmering patterns, and the air was filled with quiet energy. Ryan, Nira said softly, you have learned much today, but the journey is only beginning. There will be tests, challenges, and threats. But the bond we share will guide us. You are my partner, my equal, and my strength. That is the truth I want you to know. Ryan felt a deep warmth in his chest. He reached out and took her hand gently. And I am yours, Nira. I will honor this bond with everything I have. I understand now what it truly means to be your partner. Nira smiled, a mixture of relief and pride in her expression. Together, we will face the future. Trust, loyalty, and courage will guide us. That is the path we will walk, side by side. As they stood there, holding hands, Ryan felt the bond between them solidify. It was more than words or titles. It was trust, respect, and understanding, a partnership that would shape both their lives and the future of the colony. For the first time, Ryan felt completely certain. He understood the honor of being chosen, the meaning of Nira's trust, and the responsibility he carried. And he knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as equals, as partners, and as a team bound by loyalty and courage. The city woke under a pale, distant sun, the streets glimmering softly as Ryan and Nira prepared for their patrol. The morning air carried a faint metallic scent, and Ryan noticed that the usual calm of the colony felt different today. Something was stirring beyond the city walls, and the subtle unease made him alert. Nira adjusted her gear and looked at him seriously. "Ryan, we have reports of unidentified ships approaching from the outer sector. They move slowly, but with purpose. This is no routine visit. We must investigate." Ryan nodded, feeling a mixture of determination and tension. His training as a soldier told him to prepare for battle, but he also knew that Nira's guidance would be crucial. She had shown him how to see beyond appearances, to anticipate danger, and to respond with precision. Together, they were ready for whatever awaited them. They moved quickly through the city, heading toward the observation tower at the edge of the colony. As they climbed to the top, the view opened up across the plains. Dozens of small, sleek ships glinted in the light, moving with calculated coordination. Ryan frowned, studying their formations. These were not friendly visitors. "They are surveying us," Nira said, her voice calm but firm. "They may test our defenses or attempt to take control. We cannot allow them to succeed." Ryan studied the ships, thinking of strategies. "We prepare defenses, alert the council, and engage only if necessary," he said. "We cannot risk civilians." Nira nodded approvingly. "Correct. We act with caution and precision. Follow my lead, Ryan. This is where our partnership matters most." They descended quickly and moved toward the central command hall. Nira accessed the colony's defense systems while Ryan coordinated with security teams. Together, they analyzed the approaching ships, tracing their energy signatures and predicting their paths. Ryan noticed how seamlessly Nira worked, issuing clear instructions while keeping him informed. "They are testing our response," she said. "They want to see if we are ready to defend ourselves. We will show them unity, strength, and strategy." The first attack came as the ships fired small energy pulses at the outer perimeter. Ryan and Nira activated the colony's shields, coordinating with the security drones to intercept the pulses. The air vibrated with energy as the pulses were deflected harmlessly into the ground. Civilians were evacuated efficiently, guided by automated systems and Nira's instructions. Ryan felt adrenaline surge through him. He had faced many battles, but this was different. It was not only combat, it was leadership, strategy, and protection. He trusted Nira completely, and her calm confidence kept him focused. The enemy ships adjusted their formation, attempting to flank the colony. Ryan and Nira quickly analyzed the pattern and coordinated the drones to intercept. They worked together, moving with precision. Each pulse, each maneuver, was countered efficiently. "You anticipate well," Nira said quietly as they coordinated the next defensive move. "You are learning to see beyond immediate threats. That is why I trust you." Ryan felt a surge of pride. Her words reminded him of everything he had learned since arriving in this world. Trust, respect, partnership, all of it mattered more than strength alone. The enemy realized they faced resistance. They changed tactics, sending small landing pods toward the city. Ryan and Nira moved to the ground, leading a squad of defenders to intercept the pods. The air was tense, the hum of energy devices filling the streets. Civilians had been cleared, leaving only those who could fight and defend. As the first pod landed, Ryan approached with his weapon ready. Nira stayed beside him, guiding their team. Together, they neutralized the pod systems, capturing the intruders without harm. Their coordination was flawless, and Ryan realized how much he relied on her calm and strategic thinking. "This is only the beginning," Nira said as they prepared for the next pod. "They will test us further. We must remain vigilant." The battle continued for hours, with each wave of attackers met by careful strategy and precise action. Ryan and Nira moved seamlessly, anticipating each move, guiding their forces, and protecting the colony. Civilians were kept safe, defenses held strong, and the invaders began to retreat. At the final wave, the enemy ships fired a concentrated pulse at the central city. Ryan and Nira worked together to redirect the energy, using shields and drones to protect key structures. The city trembled, but their unity held. When the last pulse dissipated harmlessly, Ryan let out a long breath. "They underestimated us," he said, looking at Nira. "Yes," Nira replied, her expression calm but determined. "They did not expect humans and aliens to work together as partners. They did not expect trust and coordination to be our strength." Ryan felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had not only defended the colony but had learned the true power of partnership. Nira's trust in him, her guidance, and their shared strategy had turned a dangerous threat into a victory. The council arrived shortly after the battle, and leaders of the colony expressed their gratitude and respect. Ryan and Nira presented the situation clearly, demonstrating how their coordination had saved lives and protected the city. The council acknowledged the strength of their partnership, praising their unity and strategy. Later, as the city quieted and the sky turned soft shades of night, Ryan and Nira stood together on the balcony of their base. The stars reflected on the water channels below, and the city seemed calm once more. "Ryan," Nira said softly, "today you proved yourself not only as a soldier but as my partner. Our bond guided us, and it made all the difference. I trust you completely." Ryan looked at her, feeling warmth and pride. "And I trust you, Nira. Your guidance, your calm, your confidence, they make me stronger. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts." Nira smiled, a mixture of relief and pride in her eyes. "That is true. Trust, loyalty, and partnership are stronger than any weapon. We have shown that today. Remember this as challenges come. We will face them together." Ryan reached out, taking her hand gently. The touch was simple but carried meaning. It was a promise, a recognition of their shared purpose, and a bond forged through action and trust. As the night settled over the city, Ryan felt a sense of confidence he had never known. He had faced danger, protected lives, and learned the true meaning of partnership. Nira's trust and guidance had shown him a strength he had never realized. Together, they had proven that unity and cooperation could overcome any threat. And as he looked at her, he understood fully why she had called him my wife. It was not a title or a command. It was trust, respect, and partnership. It was a bond that could face any danger, endure any challenge, and grow stronger with every test. The city slept peacefully, protected by a human and an alien working together. Ryan and Nira stood side by side, knowing that whatever the future held, they would face it as partners, equals, and defenders of their world. The morning after the attack, the colony felt different. Streets that had once been calm now carried a sense of resilience. Ryan walked beside Nira, observing the citizens as they repaired minor damage and organized supplies. Even after the threat had passed, the experience left a mark. The people moved with renewed confidence, knowing they had been defended not only by their own but by the partnership between human and alien. Nira spoke quietly as they walked. "Ryan, today we will visit the council and discuss long-term strategies. The attacks showed that we cannot rely solely on old methods. We must strengthen our defenses, our knowledge, and our unity. Ryan nodded, ready to contribute. He had seen firsthand how her insight and guidance made the difference in the city's survival. He also realized how much he had grown. He no longer felt like an outsider. He had become part of the colony, not only as a soldier but as a partner, someone who had earned trust and respect. When they entered the council chamber, the leaders greeted them with quiet reverence. Nira explained the situation, detailing the attacks, the intruders' tactics, and their strategy for defense. Ryan added his observations, focusing on ways to improve coordination between human and alien forces. The council listened attentively, impressed by their teamwork. One of the older council members, a tall alien with luminous eyes, turned to Ryan. "You have shown courage and insight beyond what we expected. Your actions during the threat have proven your dedication. The trust Nira placed in you was well founded." Ryan bowed slightly. "I am honored. I only followed her guidance and did what was necessary to protect our people." Nira gave a small smile of pride. "Ryan is more than capable. He learns quickly and adapts. That is why I called him my wife. Not for tradition alone, but for trust and partnership." The council nodded in understanding. The word wife in their culture had always carried meaning beyond personal relationships. It symbolized trust, unity, and mutual responsibility. For a human to earn that title was rare, and the council recognized its importance. After the meeting, Ryan and Nira stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the city. Below, citizens worked together, clearing debris, tending to plants, and repairing structures. The city felt alive, vibrant, and resilient. Ryan watched the scene and felt pride swell in his chest. "You have become a part of this world, Ryan," Nira said softly, her gaze on the city. "Your presence here is not just protection. It is a symbol of unity. Humans and aliens can work together, and you have shown that this is possible." Ryan looked at her, understanding the full weight of her words. He had always thought of himself as a soldier first, but now he realized that being called her wife was about much more than duty. It was about trust, respect, and belief in one another. He had earned a place in her world, and he would continue to protect it. "We have faced challenges together," he said quietly. "And we have learned from each other. I understand now why you called me your wife. It is not only honor but responsibility, and I accept it fully." Nira's eyes softened. "I know you do, Ryan. That acceptance strengthens our bond. Together, we will face the future, protect our people, and ensure that trust remains the foundation of our society." As days passed, Ryan continued to train alongside Nira and the colony's defenders. They improved the city's defense systems, shared knowledge, and coordinated patrols. He learned the language, customs, and strategies of Nira's people, and she shared their history, traditions, and values. Their partnership grew stronger with every action, every decision, and every shared responsibility. One afternoon, while walking through the central gardens, Ryan noticed children playing near the water channels. They laughed and ran freely, unaware of the threats that had come before. Nira watched them with a soft expression, and Ryan felt a sense of peace settle over him. "This is why we fight, why we protect," Nira said. "For them, for the future, and for the trust that binds us together." Ryan nodded. "I understand. Protecting this world is more than stopping enemies. It is about ensuring hope, safety, and unity. I will continue to do this, alongside you." Their bond had become visible to the colony. Citizens and leaders alike recognized their partnership as a symbol of what could be achieved when humans and aliens worked together. Ryan's actions and courage, combined with Nira's guidance and wisdom, inspired others to trust, cooperate, and defend their home with renewed purpose. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the horizon, Nira and Ryan stood at the edge of the city. The sky shimmered with stars, and the water channels reflected the light, creating a serene landscape. "Ryan," Nira said softly, "look at how far we have come. We faced threats, challenges, and tests. Yet here we are, stronger, united, and ready for whatever comes next." Ryan took her hand gently, the gesture carrying deep meaning. "Yes, Nira. We have learned from each other, grown together, and protected those who depend on us. Our bond is more than words. It is trust, partnership, and strength. I will honor it always." Nira's smile was bright, her eyes reflecting both pride and affection. "And I will honor you, Ryan. Together, we will guide this colony, face challenges, and ensure that the future is safe and prosperous. We are equals, partners, and protectors of this world." As they stood together, overlooking the city they had defended, Ryan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had entered an alien world uncertain and cautious, yet he had found trust, partnership, and purpose. Nira had chosen him not only for his strength but for his integrity, courage, and willingness to learn. He had embraced that trust fully. The colony thrived, and the partnership of Ryan and Nira became a symbol for all. Humans and aliens learned from each other, defended their home together, and celebrated the strength of unity and trust. The bond between Ryan and Nira was more than words, it was action, respect, and belief in one another. In the quiet of the evening, as stars shone above, Ryan realized the truth he had come to understand: strength alone could not protect a world. Trust, partnership, and courage combined could face any challenge. And in Nira, he had found not only a companion but a guide, a partner, and a true equal. The city slept peacefully, the threat gone, the people safe. Ryan and Nira stood together, hands joined, ready for whatever future awaited. The journey had tested them, strengthened them, and shown the power of unity.